The Roman Empire ruled one of the greatest civilizations the world had ever seen. Its armies conquered continents, its engineers built incredible structures, and its culture influenced the world for centuries. But the fall of Rome was not caused by a single battle or one enemy. It was the result of a series of decisions made over hundreds of years: political mistakes, military failures, economic choices, and leadership errors that slowly weakened the empire from within. In this video, we explore 10 critical decisions that contributed to the decline and fall of the Roman Empire and uncover the hidden lessons behind one of history's greatest collapses. From disastrous leadership choices to costly wars and political instability, discover how a powerful empire went from dominating the ancient world to becoming a shadow of its former glory. For more than 1,000 years, Rome stood as the symbol of power, wealth, and military strength. Its legions marched across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Its roads connected a vast empire. Its laws and culture shaped the foundations of the modern world. But every empire has a weakness. Rome did not fall overnight. It collapsed because of hundreds of decisions, choices made by emperors, generals, and politicians that slowly damaged the foundations of the empire. Today, we will explore 10 decisions that helped lead Rome toward its eventual downfall. 1. The decision to expand beyond control. At its height, Rome controlled one of the largest territories in history. But maintaining such a massive empire became increasingly difficult. Every new conquest required more soldiers, more money, and more resources. The Roman government had to protect thousands of miles of borders while dealing with rebellions, invasions, and political conflicts. The empire became too large for its own system. The same expansion that created Rome's greatness also created one of its biggest weaknesses: the decision to depend too much on foreign soldiers. The Roman army was once famous for its disciplined citizen soldiers. However, as Rome expanded, it increasingly relied on foreign mercenaries and soldiers from conquered regions. Many of these soldiers were skilled fighters, but loyalty to Rome became more complicated. Over time, some military leaders became more powerful than emperors themselves. The army that once protected Rome eventually became involved in political struggles, choosing and removing emperors. 3. The decision to ignore economic problems. A powerful empire requires a strong economy. But Rome faced serious financial problems. Heavy military spending, corruption, and unstable taxation weakened the empire's economy. The government repeatedly reduced the value of Roman currency, causing inflation. As money lost its value, trade suffered, and ordinary citizens faced increasing difficulties. Economic weakness made it harder for Rome to defend itself. 4. The decision to allow political instability. Rome suffered from a long period of political chaos. Many emperors were assassinated, overthrown, or replaced by rival leaders. During the crisis of the 3rd century, Rome experienced decades of civil wars and competing emperors. Instead of focusing on external threats, Rome was often fighting itself. An empire divided by internal conflict becomes vulnerable to enemies. 5. The decision to divide the empire. In an attempt to make governing easier, Emperor Diocletian divided the Roman Empire into eastern and western halves. The idea was to improve administration. However, over time, the two halves became increasingly separate. The Eastern Roman Empire remained wealthy and powerful, while the Western Roman Empire became weaker. The division created a gap that Rome struggled to overcome. 6. The decision to move the capital away from Rome. When Emperor Constantine moved the imperial capital to Constantinople, it changed the balance of power. Constantinople became a center of wealth, politics, and military strength. Meanwhile, Rome itself became less important. Although the move helped the Eastern Empire survive, it reduced the influence and resources available to the Western Empire. 7. The decision to handle barbarian migrations poorly. Rome faced increasing pressure from migrating groups such as the Goths, Vandals, and others. Some groups were allowed to enter Roman territory as allies. However, poor treatment and political mistakes created tensions. Eventually, some of these groups became enemies of Rome. The failure to manage these migrations effectively weakened the empire's borders. 8. The decision to let corruption grow. Corruption became a major problem within the Roman government. Officials often abused their positions for personal gain. Bribery, unfair taxation, and political favoritism damaged trust between citizens and the state. A government weakened by corruption struggles to respond effectively during crises. 9. The decision to prioritize civil wars over defense. Many Roman generals fought each other for power instead of protecting the empire. Civil wars consumed resources and weakened military strength. Every battle between Roman forces meant fewer soldiers available to defend the borders. Rome was often its own greatest enemy. The decision to underestimate external threats. Rome faced many enemies, but it often underestimated the challenges coming from outside its borders. The invasion of groups like the Visigoths and Vandals exposed the weakness of the Western Empire. In 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was removed from power. The Western Roman Empire officially ended. But Rome's influence continued through its laws, language, architecture, and ideas. Ending. The fall of Rome teaches one of history's greatest lessons. Great civilizations are not destroyed only by enemies outside their walls. Sometimes the decisions made inside those walls determine their future. Rome was not defeated because it lacked power. It fell because its leaders struggled to manage that power. The story of Rome reminds us that even the greatest empires can collapse when they ignore the problems growing within.